Hello humans, it's just Martine, and today I'm going to be reading books with covers that I really liked that made me want to read the book. In particular today, I'm thinking easy to look at, easy breezy, beautiful covers, simple covers. You'll see what I'm talking about along the way. All these covers caught my eye in one way or another for these books, so let's see if the inside of the book lives up to the cover of the book. The first book I read for this was Alter Life by Matt Moss, and I ended up giving this a 3.5 stars. This is a virtual reality thriller, so of course I was very interested. So not only did the cover intrigue me, but also the genre, category, what have you. This is the start of a series. I only have the first book, so there's that. But I ended up giving it a 3.5 stars. Overall, I enjoyed it, and it was definitely a quick read. It read really fast, but it wasn't my new favorite thing. It's about this guy who is so scared about his family's money situation that he lies to his entire family, so his wife, his kids, everyone, and he spends a ton of money on this underhanded deal to buy this VR headset and VR video game that he heard people talking about can make you a ton of money, called Alter Life. He pretends like he's going to work every day, and in fact he's playing this game trying to earn money and get his family out of the financial situation they're in. And nothing bad ever happened to him because of that, which maybe it does later on in the series, but for right now he was totally fine with that the whole time. So he plays this VR game, and it's very much an old-timey trading type game, very medieval type setting. So even though it's high technology that's getting you into it, the virtual reality is very it's to an old or the old environment, whatever. So he goes, and pretty much right away he gets access to these really rare, very magical items, very much by luck and happenstance, and in some ways that are not quite believable. And then people want him dead. That applies to both in the game, and then it transfers out into real life. For one solid stretch of this book, he used cocaine to stay awake, and I was like, don't do that. And it's been several days now since I've read it, and I honestly forget how it ended, which is not a great sign. It is what it is, and I'm at least glad I gave this a shot. I definitely love the cover, and I've also loved lots of books with VR or gaming elements in them before, even though I don't game myself. I've loved Ready Player One and Ready Player Two, and I've also enjoyed Warcross. This was slightly down that alley, but it's read now. The next book I read for this was The Crime Beat New York, and I ended up giving this 3 stars. This was really fun and fast-paced, basically a pretty short book about a journalist who's trying to figure out more of what happened after this sniper took out this really public figure. She also gets entangled in this story that she's previously written about this police officer who she accused of brutality. And so it's kind of complex. It's got a lot of moving parts, but it's very quick. On the one hand, I loved how quick of a read it was and how short. On the other hand, the pacing was just a bit too fast at some points, which is weird because I love a good, get her done book. But I'm definitely excited to read more from this series, which is good because I have the next 2 books. Oftentimes when I'm reading books about journalists and their interactions with different crime stories, it's not quite the same as the vibe of this one. This is very much this journalist has news from the inside. She's got sources. She doesn't want to get people in trouble. She knows things she shouldn't, and I really enjoyed that in the story. I think the series is a continuation. It's not totally separate stories. I think they're really connected in some way, which is interesting for a crime-related novel because that's not usually the case. So I am interested to see how that pans out. I don't think the cover led me astray. I think this was a pretty fun time. The next book I read for this was Continuum by Chad Lester, which is actually a collection of short stories, and the reason it's called Continuum is because they have a common thread. It goes back to the past and the present and the future. I really didn't enjoy the first couple of stories in this, but the last 2 had me pretty interested. Specifically the second to last one I think I appreciated the most. That one was more of a futuristic thing. It was set on Mars, etc. So that held my attention more than hunting mammoths did. Overall, I ended up giving this 2.5 stars. It was a fine collection. I would be interested in reading Chad Lester in the future,
if I have access to anything else that he writes, but overall it wasn't like my favorite short story collection or anything, and there were a couple that really didn't hold my attention. I have to say, in defense of this book, I often read it right before bed, so my brain was not exactly working. And they were pretty long stories, and I would always be like, oh, well, I don't want to stop in the middle of the story because I'll forget what's happening. So I would try to read the whole short story, but then I was too tired to like take in any information. So just know that.
Next, I read Pleasant Grove, which I gave 2 stars. Here's the thing. I've read other books that take place in domes that I've liked better than this one. This is about these people who live in domes, and the kids are suddenly like, wait, are we sure that they're telling us the truth about what's outside the dome? And like, spoiler alert, not completely. And so the whole book is about that. It was just okay. That's my whole review. It was just okay. But I do appreciate the simplicity of the cover. I'll give it that, especially because it's got the dome on it, you know, in the letters, so that's cool. Book of Truths, I gave it 3 stars. It was like a pretty fun, really fast time about this girl who was starting to be trained to be an assassin. Her mom's an assassin, but then her mom stopped her training because she didn't want her to be an assassin. Anyway, she goes to this boarding school, and then there's a secret book from a secret society. She accidentally lands in the middle of it. It gets a little cray-cray. Yeah, I'm not going to continue on to the series because I don't have the second one, but if I did have the second one, I would read it. I had a good time. It was really a much faster read than I was anticipating it being, so that's always good. I also just love a boarding school setting so much. So some kind of mixed results on this one. I had a good time with a lot of these books, but there wasn't really a standout, I super loved this book, 5-star read type energy in here, which is unfortunate because it means that I'm really bad at just picking books by what their covers look like. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below what are some of your favorite things to see on a cover, things that automatically catch your eye, make it a cover buy, a cover read. What types of things do you like to see on covers? And subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!